Real quick, I just want to give a huge thank you to Triple Scoop Music for providing all of the songs you're hearing on this episode. Make sure and check out their website to browse through their huge selection of great music to use on your next project. Hey guys, Garrett here from Gear Glasses and Gadgets, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the Edelkrone Wing 7. Hey guys, Garrett here from... I have to drink. My throat is dry for some reason. So the Edelkrone Wing 7. This is a very interesting piece of gear. We've been using it for a little over 5 months now, and I was very skeptical when I first opened the box and played around with it for the first few hours. It's a very different animal. It's a very unique slider. I guess you'd call it a slider, but it lets you get some movement and not take up a whole lot of space in your bag. And that's one thing that I love. Anything I can do to make my kit smaller and smaller and smaller, that's what I'm all about, and that's what I want to do. However, for us, this is not a slider replacement. It's more of an addition to our existing kit. Now, that kind of goes against what I just told you, that this is going to be added to our, actually it is added to our kit. We take it to every wedding and a lot of corporate shoots. But it doesn't take up much more space. I mean, it's very small, very compact, and I always have a set of sticks with a slider on it ready to go all the time. And it actually gives me a second camera movement during like a wedding ceremony or an interview. I can have 2 sliders going at the same time instead of, just the one. But it is much, much smaller than any others. I would never think of bringing another slider like I currently have, even though it's a carbon fiber Rhino slider. It's small, but I wouldn't think of bringing 2 of those with me, whereas with this, I would definitely, as I said, we do bring this with us on every shoot. So this is not a slider replacement for us. It could be for you, and I guess if I wanted to sacrifice maybe a few of my low shots, a lot of times I like to get on the ground with my slider, not low on sticks, but actually on the ground. For instance, when the first look, I may want to get a low shot underneath a tree, and the 2 of them come together, or maybe during the ceremony. Actually, every ceremony, one of my favorite shots to do is as the bride walks down the aisle. I have a low 12mm lens on the very back pew, and as she walks by, especially if it's in a massive Catholic church, you get this big, wide motion moving shot of the back of the bride and her dad as she walks down the aisle. I just love that shot. If I didn't have my carbon fiber Rhino slider with me, I would not be able to get that because this just unfortunately doesn't go down low enough. You're limited to how low it can go by how low your sticks can go. Now these Sure sticks that we have here, these can go pretty low, but to get that low, I have to have a very large footprint, and it just would not work at the back of a church during a ceremony as the bride walks by. They'd be tripping over, or the dress would catch on and things like that. But if you can live without those really, really, really low shots, I think this could be an excellent option to replace your current slider and maybe save you some room. It does save you room. What it doesn't do is save you weight. This thing is built like a tank. We originally purchased the Wing 3. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite big enough to do what I wanted to do with it. I really wanted to get a full-size video head on it, and I wanted to put like a full-size body with like a 70 to 200, and the 3 just isn't made for that and didn't quite work out as well as I had hoped. So we sent that back. Edelkrone was nice enough to send us another one to refund us the money for that one and credit it towards this one, and I'm really happy they did because we really like it. Now I have heard some reviews that the little lock here in the front broke off. I haven't had that problem in the almost little over 5 months that we've been using it. The only thing you have to watch out for sometimes if you unlock that and then you bring it back with your hand, sometimes I accidentally just give it a little motion like this and it brings this bottom piece down so that if I'm trying to do a motion shot with it, it catches right there and you can't do anything. Of course, it ruins your shot, and hopefully it's not a moment you can't do over. But yeah, just make sure when you're doing those motion shots like that, you don't hit that and cause your slider there to jump. I do like the locking portion of it. I don't remember, but I don't think the Wing 3 had, it either didn't have this little locking pin or this one. I think it was the locking pin it didn't have, and I'm not really sure. Another thing I really like about it is there's a little brake here that you can tighten. So for instance, if I want to get a product shot, or this weekend actually, I shot a ring shot straight down, and I don't know how else I would have gotten that before, to where I could just move this out all the way, extend it all the way out, and I turn our head here, tighten it, and then angle that straight down. And I was able to put our Sony a7S II there with a 90mm macro, and had the rings on a really nice wooden table with some lettering on it, and was able to get that shot. And I might have been able to do that with the just the tripod, but I think there would have been, you know, some feet or something. Anyways, this makes that shot much more easier. And it's also great for doing those shots, you know, if you want to get a detailed shot of, you know, the place setting at the reception, the table cards, the linens, things like that. It makes it real easy to set up in a configuration like this, and then just push across it just to get that little motion and going across the table to reveal, you know, the nice place setting. When we first got this, the first wedding, I was thinking I was going to send it back. There was a few things that were just weird about it that I didn't quite understand, that I thought maybe, you know, this should be easier, but for some reason it's not. What am I doing wrong? But the more I worked with it, and the more I understood I guess the physics of it and how it works, the easier it was to use. For instance, one thing I had to get used to, which is, I guess it's kind of a negative, but I got used to it rather easily, is that when you do your motion, you don't have the full length. If you're using one hand, you don't have the full length of movement without using a second hand to give it that little nudge right there. So if you're just using one hand, maybe you're steadying the tripod with the other hand, and you go across, you're gonna stop about, the smooth motion is gonna stop about right there, so you're not getting that full extension. Now, what I've done with it since then is, when I really want the full extension, the full travel length, as you're pushing it through, you're just gonna take your hand and give it a little nudge right here, and that's gonna just give you that little additional, I mean, it's not much, but it just gives you that little bit of additional length on it. So that was a little different to get used to. One thing that was a little weird to get used to is just training your brain to remember how this works and which way it goes. So for about half a day, every time I'd want to do like a left to right shot or a push or pull, I didn't know which way to put the head because I wasn't quite sure if it was moving left or right. Anyways, that was just something really easy to get used to. And what was really annoying, what really annoyed me more than anything, is I would put, for instance, the sticks, the slider, up against a table with the two legs just totally up against it, hoping to get a table shot of, you know, like those linens of the things we were talking about. And it wasn't facing the right direction. And I had it screwed directly to the set of sticks, so there was no head here at the bottom, no video head or any way to move it. So the only way to change the direction of the slider was to actually pick everything up and turn it and then set it back down. And a lot of times that didn't work because I wanted both of the front two legs to be up against the table. But since then, I have added a little leveling head that goes between your slider and your sticks. So that way, if I do have these up against something and I have no way to maneuver to put it exactly where I want to, I can easily just not only level this, but with a half a turn, I can just move this and change the direction of it very easily. And as you can see, it has a little ball head there, so you can, you know, if you're outside and it's rough terrain, you can level it really easy. And it has a little leveling bubble right there, so you can get it nice and solid, or, you know, it's crooked you're after it, and there you go. We liked it so much, we added it to our other two sets of Sirui monopods, and it's really nice. You know, sometimes if you're shooting an outdoor wedding, we live in southern Indiana, so we do a lot of spring, summer, and fall, especially fall, outdoor weddings. And if you're out in the grass, sometimes, you know, you're not quite level, so you're gonna have to shimmy with your legs and adjust it up and down sideways and try to get it perfect. With this, you just flick a little button and you're level in no time at all. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for our review of this. We are keeping this. It's pricey, it's not inexpensive, but we beat the hell out of it. I mean, we throw this in our canvas bag with the rest of our equipment, and so it just bangs around in there, and so far so good. It has done a really excellent job for us. And like I said, I enjoy having two sliders during the wedding day, especially during the ceremony and the first dances. So I can have, like, during the first dance, a low shot. Like I said before, I love those low shots. On the ground, on the floor up by where they're doing the dances and showing the, you know, the big reception hall. Or I can have, no, I can leave that there, and then I can walk around and, you know, if there's a big tall centerpieces in the middle of the table, I can use this and get another really nice cinematic motion shot, both of those at the same time. So I really, really enjoy that. But yeah, if you get a chance, check them out. This is not a review unit. We purchased this full price. It is ours and we are keeping it. But yeah, check it out. We'll have a link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. And as Amber always says, LLAP, friends.